Barnes & Noble this evening. As some of you heard me say, Mike, this is Teacher Appreciation Day, and so it was with great pleasure we were able to schedule Erika Karres, now Colonel Karres, which has a nice alliterative sound. For those of you who don't know, she was just made an honorary Kentucky colonel. Add to her long list of honors. She already has received the Governor of North Carolina's award, the Longleaf Pine Award, and she's received numerous Teacher of the Year awards. Erika has written a terrific book. You've probably seen it. She's going to be on North Carolina Now on PBS, so watch for that. And it's sad, but also very fitting, I think, that she has written this book. She has great experience with students as a teacher. She is an expert on violence. I say sad because it is sad that we are having to think of protecting our children from violence. But the book is very, very helpful, and as I said, on Teacher Appreciation Day, when we extend the professional discount we normally give teachers for their personal purchases, it seemed especially appropriate to have a teacher who has so much valuable to say to us. Erika has taught in the Orange County system for many years and is now on the faculty at UNC Chapel Hill. She will sign books this evening, and I'd like to turn the program over to her now because she has a great deal to share with you. Thank you. Erika?
Thank you. It is so fantastic and so incredible and so fabulous and all the other adjectives you can imagine to see all of you here. First of all, of course, the dignitaries are here, and I will recognize Mayor in just a moment. Colonel Bob Pace, who has arranged many of these activities and events. We have here my darling daughters. We have here my darling daughters, Elizabeth Hounshell, Dr. Mary Sharon, and granddaughters Katie and Sarah, and my wonderful husband, Andrew Matthew Karres. But beyond that, we have lifelong friends, people who have been colleagues, associates, neighbors, supporters, helpful by just patting me on the shoulder or just smiling when I smiled like a fool or whatever I might have done. They have always responded and been nice and pleasant to me ever since I came to this country in 1961 as an immigrant. When I came here as an immigrant, I was in for a shock. I thought I spoke English, but I didn't speak English. I knew a few words. And later on, when I started teaching, I thought I knew how to teach, but my friends and associates helped me. And when it came time to write a book, I didn't know how to write a book, but I took a class under Julia Caspery, and she said, just let it flow, just put it down. And I did that, and the result is this. This book represents the goodwill and the effort and the caring all of you have shown tonight by being here, and specifically the caring that Mayor Tennyson has in his heart, because he took time out from his busy schedule to appear here tonight. Mayor Tennyson.
Thank you. I appreciate that introduction. And I appreciate the opportunity to be very brief in kicking this off. Clearly, this is the message, and the message that all of us understand, which is that the question of how we will ever lower this or break the cycle of violence is by working with young people, with youth, and so obviously this is the most important sort of information that people can gain. I'm glad to see you here. If we were doing this based only on celebrity or worth of notice, obviously Mama Dip would have been up front here, or if it were just based on ink, Carl Kinney would have been up here, but since I've got the title, I got to be here, and it's a pleasure to welcome everybody here to Durham. We're glad to have this opportunity to hear the message, and I'll get out of the way now so we can hear that. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give the mayor a hand. When I wrote a column last Christmas about the value of giving books to our children, I wrote about what books can do for us. I wrote about the fact that books can widen our horizons, entertain us, give us strength, serve as hobbies, and I wrote and wrote and wrote one of my best columns, I thought, for the newspaper. And that evening when I came home, there was a message on my answering machine. And the message said, it was from a woman in Durham, and she said, "I am so mad with you, Dr. Erika. You never did give the title of the book." And I called her back and said, it was just about books in general. So we are here today, ladies and gentlemen, not about this book, but about the message in this book. It's the message we need to carry forward. And this is one part of what I'm saying in the book. Our nation's children are our most valuable resource. This is a universal calling in this new century to be fully involved, alert, and connected to the children in all of our lives so that we can ensure that the tragedies that happened in Jonesboro, Paducah, and Littleton never will happen again. The message is that you are here and you cared enough to come. And it warms my heart to see you. And I'm delighted and thrilled that we're kicking off the message from this spot on the earth to areas here in Durham County and Orange County and North Carolina and on to all the other states, Kentucky included, where I'm now a colonel, and it'll spread and spread and spread thanks to you. And I so very, very much appreciate you being here. In this book, I have simplified and synthesized almost 34 years of teaching, 30 years in the public schools, and ever since then in teacher training under the able leadership of Dr. Bill Palmer, who's sitting right here, and many other associates. If you open the book later on and look at it, there are people who have signed off. As I wrote the rough draft, I would refer to Miss Bettina Grayheck, assistant principal, who's sitting there, and many, many other people, some of whom couldn't come. So the book stands and speaks for all of us. And when the Reverend Carl Kenny recently wrote a column about the book in the Herald Sun, I was touched by the fact that not only did he see what's in this book, but is able now to take the next step, which is to violence-proof the kids of our communities, and then in the state and in the nation. And so with this in mind, I would like to ask you if you have any questions about the book, or what it feels like to be a colonel, or am I not glad that now I have time to write since teaching is over, or any other question that comes to your mind. Does anyone have a question?
I do.
Yes, Bettina.
Question that is probably very important to me. I hope it becomes important to everybody else that's listening. Erika has a wonderful book, and there is no doubt that it will be shared with the rest of the world. But Erika also has a very unique childhood in life. She's experienced a few things that would probably make the rest of us feel humble as we go about complaining on a day-to-day basis. If you could share a little bit of your life with us.
I was born in September of 1939. It was about 17 days after the official beginning of World War II. And from childhood on, I remember bombs flying in the skies and planes strafing civilians and people getting killed. And it's from that perspective of seeing violence in its extremities and seeing hate taking millions of lives that I drew some of the ideas, anecdotes, and examples in this book. And I could talk about those things, Bettina, for hours. And of course, if you brought a Kleenex or a handkerchief, start passing them out now, because sooner or later I'd have all of us saying, that's so sad. But we aren't here for a sad occasion. This is a joyous occasion that a community cares enough to support this book. And this book is, I mentioned earlier, is coming out in 10 countries. It's being translated into Japanese. It will come out in Tokyo September the 25th. And all those of you who wish to go to the book signing there, I guess you better let me know. I'll go with you and chaperone you. Any more questions? Yes?
How long did it take to write the book?
I wrote this book mentally during the 30 years that I taught, but the problem was that I didn't really get a kick in the you-know-what until Columbine happened, when I said to myself, I have the solutions, the answers are right here. So from that moment on, I tried to get the book pulled together and published. And at that point, I of course had to find an agent. And if you know anything about agents, it's tough to find a New York City agent. Some of you are going this way. And I wrote up a short proposal, and that was last May or so, and sent it out to about 50 or 60 New York City agents. And before I had finished mailing out the last one, email messages started appearing. And the first one said, show me more. So I said, wow, I have finally found an agent. I can do this thing. And I dashed down to Garrett Road, where they have a fabulous, fabulous Xeroxing company, took all my articles and my writings and said, Xerox this, and they did it and charged me $28.75, packaged it up, shipped it off to New York, and started practicing my autograph. Well, I immediately got a message back, and it said, you blankety blank, this is not a book, but you have a book in you. And so by the time it all got squared away and straightened out, it was end of September, October, and the message was the book must be written by December 31st. So I had 2 months to write the book, and during that time, Andy, my husband, was heard on the telephone talking to Elizabeth and Dee saying, please come home. Something's wrong with your mother. She's at the computer all the time, 24 hours a day. Please put a stop to her. She's gone mad or crazy or something, because I was working like a maniac. But anyway, they wanted the book out this September the 1st, and that's when the book is being released nationally. It's only that Julia's gotten them started early here. The book doesn't come out until September, but it's on Amazon.com and all the other